Hello, it's Kevin Smith from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and today we are looking at samples of news coverage regarding a key event in American history, the fall of the Berlin Wall. A free press is one of the hallmarks of the right to free speech. Often people remark how they want their news objective and unbiased. However, the expression of differing viewpoints is an essence of the freedom. A monolithic press vapidly citing encyclopedia facts is not. Throughout American history, journalism has played an essential role in maintaining and testing the boundaries of free speech. Just like historians, journalists interpret events and frequently do so subjectively rather than objectively. Lacking the time required for hindsight, journalists report what they have witnessed, but often do so with an agenda. Whereas historians have a professional obligation to be objective in their presentation, journalists do not, and while they may seek to be honest, they do not always shy away from shading a story. This diversity of opinions is a sign of a healthy free society and also is beneficial to historians to illustrate the range of attitudes during an event. The fall of the Berlin Wall is an excellent example of this principle. The wall was one of the most powerful icons of the Cold War and symbolized the differences between the two conflicting ideologies. Ronald Reagan once quipped that the West did not need walls to keep our people in. Constructed initially in 1961, the wall surrounded the former West Berlin and was designed to prevent people from leaving the workers' paradise of communism to flee to the liberal West. But in 1989, Hungary, Czechoslovakia, and East Germany opened their borders and permitted their citizens to vacation in the West, and at this point, the wall lost all usefulness. The causes of its demise continue to be debated, but all agree that this was the most visible shift in the nature of the Cold War. Today, the event is celebrated in U.S. history courses as the end of the Cold War and a triumph of freedom. At the time, however, Americans had several reactions, all reflecting their hopes, fears, and beliefs. This event can be a powerful tool to remind students that there are no foregone conclusions while you live through a moment in history. M. Stephen Fish illustrated this point in his New York Times article, Don't Raise the Wall, written the summer before the historic event. In June of 1989, Fish expressed concern over moving too quickly to tear down the wall, for the simple reason that no one could predict what would be the outcome of such a drastic measure. A massive flow of refugees would ensure, and Fish questioned the West's ability to handle such a shift. The difficulty of transitioning to life in the West would be incredible, and American and German societies were ill-equipped to assist these immigrants. Fish advocated that it was better to move slowly, leaving things as they were. Easy to say when you're writing from Stanford University and not from Moscow. And above all, Americans should not gloat over changes in the communist bloc. Fish argued that such talk was inappropriate and destabilizing. He strongly wished that President Bush would stop encouraging these types of reforms. A few months later, Mary McGorry of the Washington Post also used the event to express her distaste for President Bush. In her view, Bush was not sufficiently enthusiastic about the wall coming down. Probably because he was lamenting, in her words, the military budget will be slashed, and Northrop shall build subway cars instead of B-2s, and Star Wars is down the drain. She described the president's stricken expression and lame words over the event, and how he had to labor to show enthusiasm. She proceeded to speculate that Bush's depression was partly due to the lack of credit for this historic event, writing, "We, the United States, had nothing to do with it except to provide the informing ideas several centuries ago." Her estimation of Gorbachev is striking as a contrast to Bush. She marks Gorbachev as the catalyst who deserves credit as a great liberal reformer because he did not use his tanks to crush the demonstrations. Students should note that McGorry has no quotes in her article except for Bush's political opponents, and no interviews are cited with Bush. She does not even record the words that she found so objectionable. Her time at the microphone is spent finding fault with the president that she does not want, and as such, she provides an excellent example of free press in action. The Orlando Sentinel also ran a story that has proven to better capture the essence of the event. Its article recounted how Virginia Comella and her family experienced in Berlin in November 10th and 11th of 1989. Comella noted the overwhelming joy and the sense that change was in the air. She remarked it reminded her of the hymn, "In Christ there is no east or west, in him no north or south, just one great fellowship of man throughout the whole wide earth." Not a journalist or a political scientist, Comella seemed to better grasp the historical importance of what was happening, and that it required more than domestic political pessimism or pettiness. As a snapshot of the moment, she wrote, "Perhaps peace on earth, goodwill towards men is possible. At least for one weekend it was." All of this illustrates to students the value of looking at newspaper articles for historical research. I'm Kevin Smith. Thanks for watching.